19.
19. Uh, it it echoes through the hallway ahead of you. Uh, but also you can hear it slightly through the iron door off to your left, which means that it's probably closer to the iron door on the other side.
Okay, I walk towards the iron door.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the hinges to see if it's rusted all to hell like the other one.
I would normally make you make an investigation check. However, it is clearly as rusted, if not more rusted than the other one.
Well, shit.
The other one had at least been opened recently. This one would require a good strong arm to break the fusion of the metal.
I'm going to roll an investigation check to see if there's any other ways through.
Any other ways through this door?
Any way through that door or adjacent to the door, like in that would get into the same area.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Teen.
I just heard teen. What teen?
15.
15. Looking around, there is actually a very small grate that would probably have been once upon a time a air. I can't speak to
an air duct.
I can't. An air duct. It's an air duct just from one room to another.
How small are we talking?
You should be able to slip through it. Liberty would probably have an issue. Darian would have an issue even getting to it. And Zephyr, while he's not big and bulky, probably isn't limber enough to get through.
Mm-hmm. Would I only be able to fit due to my specific set of circumstances?
That will definitely make it so you don't actually have to make a check.
Gotcha. Rin will walk over to the grate, and then he's going to turn and look very hard at his group mates. And he's going to turn and look back at the grate and pull it off. And then he's going to turn and look back at them.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check real quick to see how quietly you're able to pull it off.
Yes.
Clink, a clink, a clink.
14.
Clank.
14. You're able to kind of jiggle it a few times before making it slide out of its socket. It makes a little bit of scraping noise and a bit of metal on metal, but for the most part, it was actually pretty quiet.
It's gonna look very close. He is scrutinizing his teammates, and then he turns back to the grate and shifts slowly into a halfling.
And how visible is that?
Oh, it's very visible.
I will also say, being a halfling, you're definitely not going to be able to reach the grate.
He can't jump? Oh wait, how high? Sorry, how high is the grate? I thought it was at like floor level.
The grate. I started imagining it as floor level after you started working with it. We'll go with floor level now. Halfling works. The magic of the mind.
I see a black cat walk by, and then a black cat walks by again.
No. No. Oh, you cursed this.
That was taken down for copyright. So we just watched him shift into it.
I could just assume that I know certain things, but for the sake of RNG, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a history check on changelings.
Yeah, I am.
This is an Arcana check.
Yeah, I am actually curious, Jacob. How rare are changelings in your world?
Very.
Excellent.
To the point where, Rin, you've never met another.
I gotcha.
Well, that's the idea, isn't it?
I I'm the only one. Liberty is definitely
13.
Well, let's say this way. How similar does it look to the way Liberty changes her form? Would she instantly
not at all.
recognize this as something? It looks something very different.
There's something very biological about this. There
Very
are no
Mystique
spells
and X-Men.
cast. There, even Mystique and X-Men could be almost magical. This is a.
Is this Mulgarath from the terrible Spiderwick Chronicles movie?
Oh god.
Oh God, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
with less bone snapping.
I just pulled from that.
Counterpoint. What
Okay.
about
Yeah.
Oh, what is Ratman's
Self?
No, what is Ratman's name from Harry Potter?
Oh, Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew.
Yes.
Oh.
The Animagus.
You can tell the Potterheads in the group instantly.
Potted.
Potterheads.
With a 13,
Be specific.
with a 13,
I just watched
You
this
would
man
know-
crawl into a vent as he shrinks in size. I mean,
you would know that that was not a spell. And you're unaware of a different way other than a spell to do that, and even that would be a high-level spell. Because not only did he shrink, he shrunk to, like, at least half his size.
This goes
Yeah.
beyond all
That wasn't a disguised self.
polymorph.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clearly
And you
not
said
disguised
you said
self.
Okay, well I should rephrase it because not Okay, so for Darian personally in his learnedness, how common would it have been for him to come across something like that in reading?
That's what the Arcana check was initially about, and you did not roll high enough to have found any information on that.
Okay.
I don't think it's even worth a roll. Liberty was not much of a bookish.
Oh, yeah, no, Liberty wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, the closest thing would be a folklore thing, but even then, that just means way too many possibilities.
Of course it'd be a folklore thing.
Everything's folklore.
So, Rin, you crawl through the vent and make it into the next room?
Yep.
Okay.
Would that be-
The next room is relatively large, about 40 by 30 feet. On the walls and in the floors, and sometimes even in the ceilings, you see what would have been fittings for pipes. Large and small, most of them have been crusted over with dust and dirt, and the ones that you can see, almost all of them are completely filled to the brim with dirt. The pipes that would normally have connected these, however, are missing. And the pipes that are in the walls, rubbing at one, you notice that it has a more greenish color, what copper ends up becoming when it's oxidized. On the other side of the room, you see an open doorway with a iron door that has completely fallen over and lays flat on the ground. And through that doorway is another room about the same size. And through that doorway, you hear more clearly the creak sound.
Okay. I'm gonna look into the next room to see if it's occupied, and if it isn't, I'm gonna push the door open.
The door is on the floor.
No. The door that was preventing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that
That is
everyone else can
different.
get through.
That way we
Looking
don't
into
have
the
to try
next
to, like,
room.
grease up Saphir to get him through.
Right. Looking into the next room, the construction of this room where the walls are carved would make it the same size as the previous room. However, what makes it very different is off to your right, the floor seems to just disappear. A large cavern descends and right at where the floor ends, where the walls are, it turns to uncarved stone, and at the bottom of that crevice or of that cliff, you hear very clearly the sound of the echoing creek.
Okay.
But you don't see anything in there for now.
Okay, I'm gonna open the door then.
Okay, make a strength check.
Not my strong suit.
Athletics if it helps.
Intended.
That is 16 plus 0, so 16.
Okay, that'll do it. You shove your shoulder into the door, and you feel it give suddenly. It creaks on its hinges and makes a horrible shrieking noise.
I have a question. Rin, did you shapeshift back yet, or are you still halfling sized?
I have shapeshifted back.
Okay.
I had the same question. I just wasn't going to
It
say
would
it.
not have it would not have changed his strength score, but it would have been really funny.
That's why I asked, because he is cocky enough that he would use that as like, yeah, sure, why not? Now's a good time as any to
Just who I am now.
just to screw with you people.
I actually really thought about it, but I couldn't justify
See?
it because Rin's default like sort of stealth setting involves his tiefling form, and he would have been he would have been at least giving a pretense of stealth when he went to check the other room.
Makes sense.
Um,
Go ahead.
is he in his usual coloration, or you've mentioned before a stealth color?
He is back in his white and gold for now.
Okay.
Perhaps a little dimmer than usual. Like the white's trending almost more towards a light gray.
Less fluorescent.
Yes, less bright.
Even so, Darian saw what he thought he saw, and when you open the door, he's just going to look at you a little bit bewildered, and ask, "What in the Nil? Fuck. What in the
Which name?
Nilbanors was that?"
Was what?
Really? That.
What?
You shimmied through a vent half your size
Yeah.
while
Daddy,
being
didn't we have
half
a
your size.
conversation?
Look, a goat. He points over Darian's shoulder, and then he turns and walks back into the room.
Darian does not turn around.
No, but it's. Darian, do you remember the conversation we had about letting people choose how much they wish to speak of themselves?
I do. However, I will point out that when you like to make production of the things you like to make productions of, it's warranted to ask.
That one was the least production.
Generally speaking, there was the thing he did in the cave.
I will say that was less of a production on Rin's point, and it's more sort of a. It's like when you do something out of anger that you can't quite that you didn't quite mean to do.
Okay, question: is this when he? Are you referencing when he like turned his head like owl?
Yes.
He was
Okay,
also
what do you do?
a very different set of colors.
I'm
Well, yeah,
pretty
that was
sure
his-
though
that-
that
that's his
Darian
stealth
was
thing.
the only one that saw that, and because he saw it through Nagila.
Fair enough.
So him pointing that out, what he did in the cave. Are you still upset about the whole flail snail thing? I thought you would pass that.
What? No. He did. Forget it.
Oh, I
That
love when
boy
my
ain't
cards
right.
come together.
We triggered his penguin setting, apparently.
What?
So are you all following Rin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelso, that
Okay.
was Penguin, the villain from
It's a
Batman.
Batman joke.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like one quack shy. There it is. He sounds exactly like the Penguin from the old
Okay.
Adam West Batman movie now.
Okay.
Rin, are you leading them back to the cave?
Yes.
The cliff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
You guys make your way through the previously described rooms before finding yourself in the second room where you see the drop off.
I can see up to
Simba.
300 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Darian peers over the edge a little bit.
Don't trip.
Peering
Ideally.
over the edge, you see that the cliff, dang it, the cave ceiling does descend quite rapidly with the decline, at the base of which you see pretty ruined, a pretty ruined setup. Pieces of stone lie crumbled and scattered. What was very evidently the sewer system down here has caved in and collapsed upon itself, and slightly diverted and slightly not. The rest of the cave that you can see, which you can't see much of, as it very quickly turns into a very short, thin cave that you lose sight of around a bend, is filled with very dark, briny water. The smell down here is horrible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really hitting you at the moment.
Make a Constitution save. Aw, damn it.
The sewer isn't terribly full. You can see the sides, and like everything is. It's not like constantly running water, but there is a very, very steady trickle that is partially diverted into the rest of the cave.
So would we have to swim through it?
From this angle, you're not sure. Potentially.
Okay, and it's
With the
This is
nature of the dark, briny water, you can't see the bottom, but that doesn't mean
Right.
it's terribly deep.
how far down is this?
You've
from the
got a
cliff.
good 50 feet drop.
It's not terribly far.
While you're thinking, I will mention I have drawn up the whole cave I'm very proud of the artistic style that I went with this. You guys will get to see it once we're done with it.
I was gonna say it's like you should totally show us when we're done here. Well, I guess nowhere to go but down. Yes.
How far of a drop is it, DM?
50 feet.
50 feet.
And we're sure
And
we're
we
heading in the
believe
right
this-
direction.
I am not so great with navigating caves and tunnels. I know we're supposed to be heading toward the well, and that door did not seem like it had seen much use. There was another group that was sent through here not that long ago, but they did not return, so if they went the wrong way and found something terrible, that would be one explanation. If they went the correct way and found something terrible, that would be another explanation, and would mean we are on the wrong track.
Well,
But
I would think that
unfortunately
if
for me,
if 3 children, essentially, managed to make it through whatever way they made it through, that door feels like at least seemed like it hadn't been opened in years. Don't you
the
think, Ren?
grate hadn't been. The
Yes.
children did not come through here. They were above ground.
Right. They went straight down, of course. Well, there's water down there, but I would not drink it for sure. But that's probably leading in the right direction.
Rin, you have more experience in this area than I.
I'm
feel
not a
like-
sewer worker.
Well, you and I are probably
My
closer
best
to
guess,
Darian
where
than
there's
that.
smoke, there's fire. Where there's water, there's more water. I suspect that this might lead us to the well. That's my best guess. I will say, watch
Mhm.
your back. I've heard stories about the Undercity.
DM,
Indeed.
would I
Have
know
we
anything?
heard stories about the Undercity?
I don't know. Would you like to make a history check?
I would.
Sure,
I
why
read
not?
many books.
I don't.
I
but
don't think I've read this book.
It's not usually in books.
Jeez, I have a +6. That makes it a 10. Okay, well, that's average.
With
Uh,
my
I
plus
will-
1, it's a 14.
I will give you advantage, Darian. You did kind of grow up in this city.
That's one less, so so 10.
So 10 and a 16.
14.
Darian,
Sorry.
14. Darian, on your end, you didn't really hear many stories about the underground part of the city. If anything, you're actually a little surprised that there is an underground. You were aware that Cortiso, like a lot of cities in the desert, was built on top of another city as a foundation. But like you always kind of thought of that as like old ruins that they just kind of use as a base, not necessarily still
Literally.
usable structures. Yeah. So you're not sure. For you, Liberty, you've definitely heard some stories from like the kids, the urchins, your time on the streets. I mean, there are always local legends, Mothman sort of things. Not in this area specifically about Mothman, but like that sort of local legend.
Mole people.
Mole people. For the most part, though, no actual specifics about this area has. I'm trying to think of a sewer monster right now.
Alligators or
Exorn.
giant rats. Oh, okay.
Alligators are giant rats.
Lizard people. Wait, no, those exist.
Rodents of unusual size.
ROUSs. Like
Those don't exist.
He says
general
after
monster
saying it once.
stories, but nothing more than ghost stories.
Mhm.
I am not familiar with this. Are you like there is an underground city?
You're in it.
These are sewers, but are you saying that deeper there is another city? Was?
Oh, preserve me.
There are lots of things
Yes,
hiding in-
Darian. As long as you keep going deeper, you'll find an underground city where all the magical things of the world live.
I love how
It's
every
definitely
time one
not
of
a
them
metaphor
responds,
for the
other one-
sewers.
Well, I guess we should
You
stop
make-
by Xerxes while we're down here then.
It's always a good idea to keep your wits about you in the dark and shadowy places. Who knows, we might find another snail.
I feel like dark and shadowy go hand in hand with this one.
There are different kinds of dark.
You should see my grimoire.
What are you all doing?
Rin, how much rope do you have?
How much rope do I have? I have
All of
30
it.
feet of rope. 60 feet of rope, actually.
That should be enough to reach the bottom. You could tie it off to something.
Is there a place to tie it off up here, DM?
There are the pipes and tubes that slightly jut out of the wall.
Darian's gonna
How
start.
sturdy they are!
Yeah, Darian's gonna start
They're pretty
pulling
old.
on some.
I'm pretty sure I've also got pythons.
Yeah.
Pythons?
Pythons.
That works.
I think they're technically called pitons, and it makes me mad.
It makes me mad too because
I
I,
ref-
remember this
I
being an
refuse to call
entire
them that.
thing.
Thank you, DM. In Ohari, they are called pythons because it makes more sense.
Great, because
Take
it's
that,
a dumb
internet.
word.
Emily's gonna have my ass over it because she actually uses stuff like that. But you
Oh,
know
God.
what? I don't care.
Right.
This is my
These
world.
are-
I'll do
these
what
are
I want,
fantasy.
wife.
Pythons.
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 Are we calling them tieflings now too?
Oh,
Get
God.
out! Be gone.
I'm going to throw you into the sewer.
Oh God. You just resurrected.
I didn't think I'd get 3 out of 3 on that one. I was settled for 1.
You just resurrected freshman year me, and I don't like it.
So are you driving a python into the floor?
Yes, but I'm covering the head of the mallet with a few layers of cloth so it won't ring
Ooh.
out.
Smart. That's smart. You're able to find an already existing crack and make it a bit. Make sure that the python is well secured in it before tying off the rope. It does reach the water.
Darian's going to look around on the floor a little bit while he's tying that off, and finding a small pebble, he kind of just lightly kicks it off the edge, casting light on it as he does so. So as the pebble flies off the edge, it emanates light. That's what
Immediately a swarm of bats.
A little tiny shooting star falls off of the cliff edge, hits the water, and there's a slight glow from underneath the water. Very, very muddied.
Ugh, that's going to reek. Darian's gonna start taking off like some of his extra layers, and he's gonna start stuffing them into his bag of holding.
Doesn't
Okay.
smell as bad as your back. We wouldn't say backyard, would we?
Property?
Not as bad as what.
The
Not
garden.
as bad as the smell wafting in from the garden through your kitchen window.
Firstly, you should close the window. Secondly, I am not responsible for Zephyr's horrible upkeep on the cabbages.
Is he the one that decided to keep
Zephyr
an open
just
pit of-
glares at you.
Darian
I'm sorry.
chuckles. Darian absolutely chuckles at the joke.
No one else does, but he amused himself. I'm sorry, is Zephyr also the one responsible for the open pit of leftover bandit?
Maybe it was the cat.
Did you not put them in lie yet?
I'm sorry, but that sounds like
He was
a really
referring to an
racist
actual
comment about
cat,
your
not
daughter.
Rain.
I know, but still.
Yeah.
I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, no, I meant a literal cat.
Rin's horns turned into cat ears for the barest of moments.
I don't like it.
Zephyr is going to grumpily grab the rope and begin heading down first.
Zephyr, it was a joke.
Don't slip.
Insult my cabbages.
He's so protective with cabbages. That's great.
But if you do slip, do a flip.
Do a flip.
He
Okay.
slowly makes his way down. At the bottom, he is submerged about in waist-high water.
How is
Also
it?
Did you say how is it?
Yes.
Well, it reeks, but I mean, it's not too cold.
Welcome
He
down
kind of stage whispers.
there. So I'll come down and join him.
Okay. Well, down
What do
we
I
go.
see once I'm down there?
Unironically, a lot of shit. No, there's you see the crumbled walls that used to hold up this section of the sewers. Around you, the uncarved natural cave walls that have probably been slowly worked from this damaged section of the sewer itself to make their way through the solid stone here. The water ahead of you is same level, slightly pushed forward and then backward through a constant ebb and flow of the running water as it goes by. It stinks.
Hey, real quick, who all has gone down and who hasn't?
Darian's
Oh,
still
sorry.
standing. Darian and Rin are still
Zephyr
standing next to each
and
other.
Okay, just
Yeah.
checking. Just check.
Liberty, have you gone down?
Yeah. Liberty
Okay,
went
so
out.
it's just
After
the two of
Zephyr.
us.
Zephyr has taken a few steps towards the continuation of the cave that you can see on the far side from the cliff wall. And as he does so, he actually kind of rises up out of the water a little bit as the ground below rises as well to about just a little above the knee.
Mhm.
I will make mention, this is very difficult terrain. Not very difficult, but this is difficult terrain.
Oh, my ranger class will finally come in handy. I'm glad I
Can't wait for.
put shit swamp as my preferred terrain.
That's called a mire.
Fallon.
Are you two just standing up there looking snobby?
I can't tell if his laughter was in character or not earlier.
Pearls before swine.
Is he... Wait, hold on.
That's actually not what that saying is about, but sure.
Darian's absolutely gonna chuckle about that under his breath a little bit condescendingly as he starts making his way down the rope.
Excellent. You've activated my trap card, you fool.
He just said
Cuts
watch
the
your
rope.
back.
Yeah, so Darian gets to the bottom of the rope.
Okay.
Rin would like to, and I'm emphasizing that Rin would like to, basically Sinbad his way down the rope and make a huge splash when he hits the bottom.
Go ahead and
Pageantry.
give me an
I-
acrobatics.
Can someone explain the visual image that everyone else has that I don't?
Pirates.
17.
Okay, I know that Sinbad's a pirate, but I don't follow the train of thought here.
You want to give a bit better explanation than a reference?
So Rin basically grabs the rope one-handed and basically it's a combination of a swing and a slide all the way down before landing firmly on both feet. Typically done on the deck of a ship from the rigging.
Okay.
And there is
Except
a
he's-
huge splash, and with a 17, you cover Darian.
Really? Really?
I would be careful about opening your mouth there, Darian.
And then Rin uses prestidigitation to clean off his own clothes.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Darian starts doing the same as he's like brushes off his arms, and as he's doing it, he's prestidigitating on his arms and his torso.
Pretty sure there's a verbal,
So you've-
verbal compel on it. What's the odds that he actually gets crap in his mouth?
Not high. He's
No.
being careful. You guys have all made it down into the sewer. There's a very clear path that heads out and ahead of you.
Alright. Rin, would you like to take the lead again?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like
Rin,
us to stay close or hang back 30
Hang back.
feet?
him back about 30 feet.
Alright.
Rin paces forward and his coloring changes.
Okay.
Cat's out of the bag,
Go and
why
roll
not
me.
just-
Roll me a stealth check for Rin. All I heard was teen again.
13.
13. Okay. You make your way through. It's very difficult to keep everything really quiet since you're slogging through the water. The ground beneath your feet is very uneven, and that also doesn't help. But making your way into the cave, it winds and weaves for a few feet before coming out to a relatively open area off to your right is an opening that leads into another relatively open area where the water laps against a pebbly shore, for lack of better terminology. And that area disappears around a corner and off to your right. Off to your left, the open area is that's where the main body of the open area is, a small little island of stalagmites coming out of the ground. All cluster in the middle of this room, and past them on your left you can see where the path leads on into another area. Pretty much straight ahead of you across the room, however, is another open area that's a bit wider. All of which, save for the path immediately to your right, that most likely leads back to where you came from, or that general vicinity, is covered still in the briny water.
Okay. I use prestidigitation to create a stone in my hand,
Okay.
and I throw it into the wider room to see if it attracts the notice of anything when it clatters.
Real quick for me, I don't know if prestidigitation can actually make physical objects.
can't.
It says
It's
you
an
can
illusion.
create
Fit in your hand.
It says you create a non-magical trinket or an illusory image that can fit in your hand. I was assuming a stone would be a non-magical trinket.
It would be a
You did
non-magical
this-
trinket, but it's still an illusion, is the problem.
Well, it says or illusion, because remember, you've done this as Phaedric,
Ooh.
where you combined your rock gnome tinker ability with prestidigitation to make a little tiny clockwork thing.
Yeah, when I did that, I actually used like wire. You know what? It's a stone. Why not? Yeah.
Yes.
Which way are you tossing it?
You said there was one room that got that seemed to get larger.
Yeah. So the room that you've entered is larger. The hallway that is larger is the one pretty much straight across from you.
Yeah, that one.
All right. You toss it that way, and it hits the water. Decent splash. You can definitely hear it from where you're at. You wait a few minutes. Nothing lumbers through the water to get it.
Okay. Rin will continue forward then.
All right. How far behind are you guys?
Following it about 30 feet.
All right. I'd like a group stealth check at the moment then, as yeah, you're not able to remain a full 30 feet behind, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see him at all. But yeah, you guys are staying well enough behind.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
15!
Natural
Hey.
20.
All
So-
right.
So
Man, I wish
30
we had
all
these rolls on
told.
something else.
As you guys begin to move forward, you're a bit quieter this time, and as Rin goes through the larger of the three pathways, you guys make it into the next larger room. Rin, the large pathway ahead of you slowly and steadily curves off to your left. Still completely filled with, not completely filled, but still with the layer of water at the base. Passive perception is 15. As you begin rounding the corner, you think you hear farther into the cave a small voice. You hear, "Is anyone there? Hello?"
Shit. What role would it be to use ventriloquism?
What are you trying to do?
Basically, respond, but make it sound like it's not my voice is not
He
coming
wants
from
to
where I'm
throw his
standing.
voice.
Oh, you're trying to throw your voice.
Yes, yes.
You do not have. Yeah.
Performance?
Okay. No, I was looking to see if he had thaumaturgy because I
Okay.
think
No,
thaumaturgy you can at least
yeah.
throw your voice with.
Yeah, you can throw your voice with thaumaturgy. Unfortunately, I can't find the damn spell because it's like I
Go
would
ahead.
actually prefer that one over prestidigitation.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a performance check.
18.
18?
Yep.
Okay. You feel like you can relatively easily throw your voice, especially with the way that the caves are.
Mm. Who's there?
You ask the question to the darkness, and in response, you hear, "Is someone there? I need help."
What is your name?
"I need help. I think I found something."
What is your name?
"I need help."
Rin's sword is out of its sheath.
How far? So if we're 30 feet back,
Rin
how much
doesn't
of this
know
can
a
we hear?
thing about Kenku.
You guys are, you do hear him speaking, but you're not hearing any responses from where you're at.
I wish I had message.
Um,
Well, hold on. This is me out of character. Kenku have to mimic voices, but they don't have to mimic words, do they?
they have to.
They
mimic
do have
words.
to
Well-
mimic words.
They do have to
And if
mimic
it's-
They have
words?
to do both.
They're soundboard.
Gotcha.
And
Which is why it was funny
especially
when
a
you were
small
making soundboard
child,
jokes earlier.
and if it's a small child, they may not, like an adult might have mastered the skill to be able to break things apart more to fit things into the sentence that they need. Small child may not have the skill or the necessary like collection of sounds to be able to put something like that together.
Gotcha.
Or the child might have been told never tell anyone your name unless you can confirm that they work with us.
So you've drawn your sword.
I am holding it sort of to the side, like in almost a fencer's at the ready pose.
Okay.
I'm not
Rin.
moving offensively with it yet, but I am also not liking what I'm hearing so far.
Rin.
But before Rin responds, he's going to say, "Step in." So we're in a tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, you are in a tunnel.
Step into the middle of the tunnel.
Rin.
Rin's gonna slash his hand at Darian.
The voice responds, "I think I found something."
Rin beckons Darian and Liberty forward.
Coming up.
What?
Ask it something in a specific voice. Or, like, say something to it in a specific voice. Rin's gonna eat these words. I freaking know it, but still.
Rin's throat seems to ripple for a second, and then he
Oh.
says, "Who are you?"
The voice responds, "I need help."
With what?
think I found something.
It's a trap.
If it's a Kenku, it might be. If it's a Kenku, it might repeat what you say in your own voice.
Except that it hasn't.
Exactly. Maybe if you prompt it a bit more, it might.
I've prompted it
DM,
several
from where
times.
we're standing, can Liberty identify like where the voice is coming
Liberty
from?
can't hear a voice.
The boy. Oh,
Well, no,
like when she's up next to Rin.
he did beckon
Mhm.
both of us forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm standing.
and
next to
neither of
Rin.
you can hear a voice.
I didn't realize that.
Rin, Rin, who are
How can you hear
talking to?
it that well?
Oh god, I had to resist quoting Gimli just now.
Speaking words we can all understand.
I have the eyes of a hawk and the ears of a fox. No.
He could literally have the eyes of a hawk and the ears of a fox.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Why he wouldn't say that particular phrase, because then he'd be committed to the bit. We don't need that.
Rin gestures and says, "You don't hear it."
I don't hear anything. Do you?
You two can make perception checks.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
12.
You don't hear anything.
Rin, whatever it is, it's in your head. And Darian's
That's
gonna
what I was
start
afraid
turning
of.
his. Darian's gonna, when he says that, he's gonna start facing a little bit more back to back with Rin.
One of you look
Okay.
up.
Look up? Is that what he said?
Yes.
I will look up.
Make a perception check.
Okay. 22.
Hey,
22. The ceiling is roughly hewn from water. Stalactites, very short, hang from the ceiling. It appears to just be a cave ceiling.
Zephyr,
What?
watch Liberty's back while she keeps an eye on the ceiling.
I'm going to.
Now I have to
cast
watch her
the-
back too. And my own back.
No, Zephyr's watching my back. You're watching Rin's back.
No, I'm
Um,
making a callback to when we were giving him.
Oh, okay.
And he wasn't following the
Liberty-
instructions.
Liberty is casting See Invisibility. So
Okay.
for the next hour, I can see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and I can see into the ethereal plane.
Ooh, aren't you ugly?
Ooh. Oh, the ethereal plane. Okay. Zephyr will move to be back to back with Liberty. Looking around with your 22, nothing.
Rin, there's
Nothing new
there.
stands out.
Is there a specific direction Rin is hearing the voice from?
It disappeared to be coming from deeper in the cave.
Rin slowly starts moving forward.
All right.
Moving with him. Keep looking all around with the See Invisibility.
As you
Yep.
begin taking a few steps, Rin, you do again hear, I think I found something. I need
What?
help.
What did you find?
Is someone there?
Am I still able to throw my voice in response?
Yeah, you have been this whole time.
Oh, okay, just checking. I didn't know if that had worn off.
As you guys continue moving forward, the pathway continues wide, about 20 feet in width. A brief opening off to your left, not from where the noise was coming, you can see somewhat into, but it seems to be unimportant as you continue forward. Ahead of you, however, you see that the small hallway opens up into a decently large room. A cliff edge rises from the water on the far wall in a steady slope to make a semicircle on the far wall. The wall opens up onto the right as well, making a relatively oval-like shape of a room. On the far end, you see about a 5-foot wide opening. At the base of the edge, you see a large pile of old refuse and things that have washed up from the sewer in this area.
Rin, if you
As you step closer to the room, Rin, you hear, "I think I found something."
Rin, if you want, if you have a good arm, I can give you another lit rock.
Rin nods quietly and then responds with, "What did you find?" while throwing his voice as far forward as he can to make counter to his to their actual location.
As Darian hands, I'm assuming while he's doing that, he's also doing
Yes.
the rock thing, and then Darian's essentially cupping it, and then making sure that he cups his hand when he hands it to him. So the lit rock is encapsulated in
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
in Rin's hand.
As you ask the question, Rin, the response comes. "Oh God, this place stinks. Keep up. Don't want to get separated."
Chakur.
Rin throws the rock at the pile of refuse.
As you do so, it lands near a large, what almost appears to be fleshy, probably something akin to the shape of a thigh. As it hits the large pile of refuse, the thigh-like thing moves and twitches slightly before 3 sections of it split to reveal crimson orbs as the entire pile shakes and shudders. From beneath a large bulbous form, 2 tentacles begin to writhe. And before you, an Otyugh rises from the water. Roll for initiative.
What the Chakur is that?
We're also going to take a break real quick. Go pee.
It.
Have some fun. I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes as I go say hi to my wife who just walked in.
Excellent. Yes.
See you guys soon.
Give her a hug for me. And
Ooh, nat 20 on
sound guy
initiative.